Masechet Batra Daf Kuf Lamed Bet Amud Aleph, first line, beginning of the Amud. Ba'erava. We had earlier a case. If a guy wrote all of his properties belonging to his wife, we said that it makes her the administrator. She doesn't actually own it. The Gemara says, but Shmuel will say the same thing regarding to a healthy guy. The guy says, you know what? All my property belongs to my wife. Is he actually giving it to her, making her administrator? Meaning, what's the question? Because maybe in the case of the guy is dying, he wants the wife to be in charge because he wants her to be respected. Maybe if he's healthy, he's still there to make sure that she's respected. Maybe even while he's healthy, he wants her to have a power of say. Mark says Tashimon's being a proof. If someone's writing over the produce of his property for his wife, she can even collect the ketubah from the land itself. Right? So we see, in general, when the guy writes a ketubah to his wife, she has a lien on the property. Therefore, if he would die or divorce, she can collect from whoever bought it from him. So now, if he gives her that land or produce while they're married, she does not lose that lien. And therefore, the maximum he only gave her a half, third, or quarter of his property. She can still collect the ketubah from other parts. Everything to his wife. And a document was then produced against him. She loses the right to the property as a gift, but she can still use the ketubah as a lien on whatever she can get. She loses the lien and she keeps the rest as a gift. Therefore she loses on both accounts. She loses the fact that she doesn't have a lien, and she loses whatever she would have gotten otherwise. Torah says, if Amar b'yada machtom, ma'aseh ve'irah davar b'vat achuti kala, it happened actually to his daughter-in-law, which was his niece. Uba ma'aseh lefanei hachamim, the hachamim answered him, Bamaru, tikra k'vatav v'tamam v'taratam v'tanatzeh ha'krach ha'nikan, she loses the lien, and she only keeps the rest as a gift, and she basically lost in both ends. The only reason why she lost it is because there was a document that went against him. Seems like she would have kept it if there's no document. Bamai, why not? Either way, if it's referring to a case where the guy was dying, that case for sure, she's definitely a administrator. It must be a case proof that he was healthy and it still would have acquired. The Gemara says not proof. The other mashkir maybe is talking about a dying person. That Avivira Makila Vikul and Raviva was holding like the other opinions that Shmuel said earlier in the case of divorced wife or arusa, Ravina Makila Vishta Arusa Vishta Yerusha, right? The different cases that it would work uh, not as an appointed divorce. The cases where he doesn't need her to become respected, i.e., the arusa, the gerusha, other sons from different marriage, etc. Okay. Marvi said, we said earlier that the halacha is that she loses both ends. What do you mean? Why would she lose if the whole point that she's accepting the gift is to accept and receive? Why would that lose if we know, in general, as we'll see now, that a person, when we go after the person's mindset, and her mindset is not to lose. But then Brett says, someone's son went overseas, he heard by that his son died. And he said, you know what? He wrote a star that all the property should go to his neighbor. All of a sudden his son returns. The gift still works. Rabbi Shimon ben Nasi, Rabbi Shimon says, however, in Matanat Matana doesn't work. Why? If you would have known that the son died, look, I tell you, didn't write it. That you take the mindset into account. So therefore, in the case of the lady, she obviously wouldn't accept the gift if she knew that it would cause her to lose. Where it says, Haniyatim is different. She's happy, she gets the pleasure, she gets pleased that the husband's writing her this document that she's receiving all the property, and therefore she willingly lets it, she's mochel the lien. Okay. If the guy writes his property to his sons and he also gave a tiny piece of land to his wife, she loses the ketubah. The Gemara says, I mean, why would she lose the ketubah just because she receives land? The Gemara says, Amarav b'mizavin la ayda. First answer is that maybe the husband transferred the property to his sons through the wife, and therefore she must have approved it. Which Shmuel says, he should take it. Similarly, the husband gave it to the sons while she was there and she was quiet. It must be she's mochalet. Rabbi Yossi, third answer. Therefore, the guy says, take this land for your ketubah. And she didn't protest, so she must have been accepting that that's the only piece that she's getting. The Gemara says, "Umekulei ketubah shanam kan." These are the lenient cases of ketubah. This is a lenient case, a lenient halacha that generally, we won't assume people are mochel, but this is leniency regarding ketubah. Okay, Tanan, Mishnah, we have a problem with this still. Rabbi Yosef says, Im kibla aliyah, if the wife accepted the loss of her lien on the other properties, af bish looked about, even if he didn't write it down, if that's what she loses the ketubah. That sounds like the first opinion held. Kiteva v'kibla, you need to write the gift to the wife, and she needs to accept it. Which seemingly before we didn't need the writing and accepting, we just needed her just to be quiet. Maybe you might think the whole Mishnah according to Rabbi Yosef says, when does it work that the wife forgives the properties? She was there and accepted it. But she did not accept it. She does not lose it. It's a question of everybody. That seemingly that we require her to verbally accept it and not just be quiet in order to forgive her lien. We have a section Rav Hashmu, Shmuel, Rabbi Yosef, another opinion on this. My more severe, more my severe. What do you hold, Rav Nachman? And rather, he says to him, Shani, I hold. Kevin just says Shataf ben Amrim. Once the husband made her a partner amongst the sons, if that to attach loses the Kedibah. It don't have even says, I'm not saying Kevin just says to Kedibah, same exact thing. Okay, bye Rava. How do we say in the case of a healthy person, the guy was healthy enough to give when he gave away the property to his son and tiny bit to his wife? Do we say who it only works that she loses the lien by a guy who's dying? Because now she knows nothing else is going to happen, and therefore she must be she must be mochelet. Maybe while the guy's alive, she should not lose the lien because maybe she's relying on more property being purchased. Maybe you might say that even now the guy's she's mochel, even though there's nothing else going on now. The Gemara says take. Next, the guy who's dying told people, Pagal Brat give half my property to one daughter, Upagal Brat another half to my other daughter, and a third of the produce of the money that comes in to my wife. That produce that's receiving to the wife, is that enough to make her forgive the lien? Says, even if the husband did not leave her a single date palm tree for its fruits, she still loses it. So too over here, where it says, that only applies where he gave her the land itself. But over here, there's not even a tree. She's just getting the fruits from the tree. Where it says, I'm not talking about a case of movable objects. Movable objects does not make her lose the lien, and therefore she would still receive it unless she was given land. The guy told his dying guy told his family, Tila liberat the third of my property to one daughter, Tila liberat another third to my other daughter, Tila another third to my wife. She loses the lien because she got 33% of the property. Now, one of the daughters died before the husband died. Papi maybe said, Lo shaka el tata. The wife doesn't get that doesn't split that 33%. Rather, she still only gets her initial third. Ilu hadar the husband, he says, 1 second. If the husband would have, let's say, bought $1 million property the next day, or made $1 million the next day before he died, Milo Shakla, she would still get that money. Therefore, same way, if the husband would have gotten richer, she would take that 33% that she's owed eventually. So it's over here, if the daughter died and the property goes back to the husband, she should also split that 33% instead of giving it all to that second daughter. There's a guy who was dying and gave his property amongst his wife and his kids. He had one date palm left that he didn't give anybody. Maybe he thinks, maybe the wife only gets that palm tree and nobody gets, and then she doesn't get anything else. The Gemara says, if she doesn't have anything else, she didn't get that either because it was never never told her if she was going to get it. It must be that since she gets the rights to the palm tree, she retains the rights to all the other properties because nothing was said outright. Amen, amen.